Good morning everybody, it's Monday the 12th of March and this morning I'd like to do the G10 FX Cloud Chart market review looking at the G10 currency pairs. Here's the social media and contact information and the usual disclaimer. So the cloud charts that we'll be looking at today is the G10 currency pairs. These are the currency pairs we'll be covering, and I'm jumping straight into the pro real-time platform. We'll kick off with the Australian US dollar. Going to the daily chart there, we can see we've had quite a run over the last couple of months, and then a nice rally, ran into resistance, corrected, had the sell signal there in the MACD. Then cloud chart support came in here, failed the bottom in the cloud. We then rebounded close to old cloud chart support levels, and we're now grinding back into the cloud. We've had a MACD buy signal here, so it's going to be interesting to see if the Australian US dollar will be able to maintain momentum up towards the top end of the cloud chart resistance zone. You can see there. So watch these levels, 79.11, next key resistance zone, and see if it's going to be able to maintain momentum on that on this daily chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see how we've had a nice little rally after rebounding from old support levels here. We had a MACD buy signal there, bit of profit taking there, sell signal, rebound back again on the bottom end of the cloud. We're now testing the old resistance levels here, so do expect a little bit of a pullback and potentially back down to the 78.44 zone, and then a continuation of the rally. But so far, nice rebound here at the top end of the cloud as well as the bottom end of the cloud, corresponding well with the MACD buy signal there. Moving on to the next currency pair, Euro US dollar. We can see here it rebounded from old lows. Back here we can see here the January lows here. We rebounded nicely from there. We had a nice MACD buy signal, then grinded into the cloud, grinded through the cloud, and then found resistance at the top end cloud chart resistance zone. You can see the old cloud chart level here, 1.2444 came into play. It then corrected, had a MACD sell, and now it's looking for support at the bottom end of the top end of the cloud here. So we could see a potential rebound here, as it's now going to test for support at the cloud level. Watch out for a potential support to come in at 1.23 zone. If we see a strong sell-off there, we could rebound from that zone and then back up to retest those levels. Waiting patiently for a MACD buy on the 4-hour chart. Looking at the daily, we can see a spot on testing the top end cloud chart support zone. So if you see a MACD buy on the daily and you see this rebound at the cloud chart support level at the top end of the cloud, that would be a nice long entry on that signal. So the top end of the cloud here is basically a support zone with these old highs as the resistance. So we kind of range bound in trade. Okay. GDP US dollar. Sterling is fighting for support of within the cloud, the bottom of the cloud. So far, good support zone. Watching for a MACD buy to come into play. If that coincides well with a retested support here at the bottom end of the cloud, plus the MACD buy, that will be a nice signal to go long there, with upside potential to the top end of the cloud and old high resistance zones. But we're not out the woods yet, so let's look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we're struggling to get past the resistance here. You see the old highs, the old cloud chart resistance levels came into play. So watching very closely to see if sterling will be able to break past this 1.3891 resistance zone. We've had a MACD buy here, so slow grind higher. Breaking past that would be good, and then we're looking at the next targets here at these old cloud levels at 139.72 and 1.40. So that would be the upside potential. Support at the bottom end of the cloud, it needs to break past this resistance, and then we're looking at these old highs, old cloud chart resistance levels as the next targets. New Zealand US dollar, getting close to old cloud chart resistance levels here, top end of the cloud here. So there's still a couple of points left in it. We are struggling to get past these old lows here. and the cloud chart level. Note the lagging line here hitting a bit of resistance there, so we could see a bit of a consolidation here and then another rally attempt at these old highs there. We've had a MACD buy signal, so far so good. That's on the hourly chart. Daily, we had a big correction here after forming a double top there, sell off there, had a MACD sell. Now it's fighting for support there at the top end of the cloud. We can see it's also fighting there for the cloud pivot line there, Kijun-sen line at 73.065. So will be interesting to see if it will gain support there. If support holds here, we get a MACD buy signal at this rebound of the top end of the cloud, then we should see these old highs retested. If support fails at the top end of the cloud, then we're going to move further down into the cloud chart to retest for support at the bottom end of the cloud. So watching that one very carefully to see if that signal will come through. US dollar CAD pulling back a little bit after running into old resistance levels here that we get from the September cloud chart resistance zones, consolidating now, retesting these old highs for potential support. Front cloud level here is this key support zone for potential rebound at 1.2794. Looking closely to see if we will see that rebound there, but the risk here, we can see a MACD sell signal on the daily, which would be a no-no. And we look at the 4-hour chart, we're at a critical level, fighting hard for support here at the bottom end of the cloud here. So you could, from a short-term trading perspective, take a long position here at 1.2807 in anticipating a potential MACD reversal, but that would be a risky trade. Otherwise, one can wait for the MACD buy signal to come in at this cloud chart support level test. And then there's a potential for a rebound back up to the top end of the cloud. So watching very closely to see if the US dollar CAD will rebound from the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud chart support zone. US dollar Swiss franc putting back a little bit there. You can see it broke past old resistance zones. Will be interesting to see if these levels will come in as a key support zone. To expect these levels to be tested on the 4-hour. Watch out for the MACD sell there. Where do we stand on the daily? We're stuck here at cloud chart resistance at the bottom end of the cloud. So critical for the US dollar Swiss franc to break through this cloud chart resistance zone. If it manages that, we're going to be looking at the 96.16 and the front cloud resistance at 95.50 as the next key resistance zone. Okay. US dollar Danish krone also struggling to get past resistance at the bottom end of the cloud. Traded nicely, rebounded nicely from alt support levels here, you could see. Now fighting that cloud chart resistance, and if cloud chart resistance holds, it's going to move further down and retest these lows. And if support resistance breaks past there, the Danish krone, US dollar Danish krone breaks past that resistance, we're going to go to the top end of the cloud chart resistance there. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see this cloud level here is a critical support zone at 60038, and the front cloud support zone is 6.0176. So these are potential rebound zones together with that cloud level there at 6.0280. Okay, so we could see a potential rebound on the 4-hour at these levels, but watch out, the MACD buy signal, sell signal might come through, and then we can retest these old lows. So it's at that critical point. We're waiting for that next catalyst to come through. US dollar yen on the 4-hour chart fighting for support at the front end cloud at 106.46, potential rebound zone there, but watch out, the MACD might just fire a sell signal, then we're going to dip back into the cloud, and you can pick it up at 106.11. That's on the 4-hour chart. Looking at the daily, still trying to find the bottom here. We can see this support low here comes from this cloud level here at 105.23. It's a significant cloud chart support zone at the top end of the cloud. Fail that, we're going to dip into the next one, which is at 103.46, and then the bottom end of the cloud here is at 101.80. So not a particularly good picture if support fails. But so far it's trying to regain support, trying to rebound from that low, with the targets here at the bottom end of the cloud as the next key resistance area. We've had a MACD buy signal on the daily, so we're just looking at these pullbacks and maybe get in at that support zone at 106.26. Okay. US dollar Norwegian krone. The daily also trying to find support at old levels here. dating back from September. Bottom in the cloud is resistance. Looks like we're going to fire a MACD sell, so there's potential downside here. Looking at the 4-hour, trading below the cloud, slightly in trouble with potential downside to a retest of these cloud level lows, these old lows, as well as this low of the bottom end of the cloud here at 7.68. We're watching to see if the 7.7440 zone will come back in as a key support level. But note the MACD sell, and the resistance is now at the bottom end of the cloud, as well as this Kijun Sen line here at 780.25. That is a key resistance zone. But so far drifting lower with potential to pick it up at key support zone. And then the US dollar Swedish krona fighting for support within the cloud. These are the key support levels on the 4-hour chart to watch for. It's 8.1903. And then these levels here at 8.210. So potential rebound there on a daily, on the 4-hour chart, and then on the daily one. Key level to watch for potential support to come in is here at 8.174. So it's struggling with resistance that it comes from the January cloud support level there, which turns into resistance. It's fighting that resistance with support here at 8.175, and then another retest of that 8.2788 resistance zone. Okay. But interesting, the euro and US dollar fighting for a potential rebound at the top end of the cloud here, and the US dollar, GDP US dollar, watching out closely for a potential rebound at the bottom end of the cloud here when a MACD buy signal comes into play. Okay. Until next time, happy charting.